Well, it's a new day, so we all know what that means. There's another journalist around the country that decided to try to smear Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Now, what do you do if you see a rising star in the progressive movement? How do you try to diminish their image among working class people? You compare them to other political figures who are widely disliked. Who did he choose? This guy, Max Boot. Who did he choose to compare Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to? Donald Trump and Sarah Palin.
You are stupid.
This is what he has to say in an article titled Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez Shouldn't Approach Her Facts the Way Trump Does. He starts off by saying that he feels guilty even writing this article because he's given her even more attention than she deserves, which he implies she craves, and he admits that her biggest critics have been ineffective at attacking her in a way that lands, citing the response to the release of her dancing video and whatnot, and how that backfired colossally. But he then joins the chorus of attacks himself, saying the real problem with Ocasio-Cortez is not how she dresses or where she comes from. It's that she is an uber-progressive, a self-proclaimed democratic socialist who cares more about ideological correctness than factual correctness. So he then goes on to cite examples of her making factual errors or wording things clumsily, and he brought up her recent 60 Minutes interview with Anderson Cooper, and he claimed that her response to being fact-checked was that she was unapologetically incorrect, and he used the same clip of her 60 Minutes interview, the same exact portion that Krista Liza took out of context, mind you, to suggest that she doesn't care about factual correctness. Now, to be fair to him, he actually did include her follow-up statement in the article where she emphasized the importance of fact-checking, but still, he said that her initial response was cavalier and that she, quote, displayed a cavalier attitude toward the truth similar to that of President Trump. Is that so? So someone who's made less than, a dozen mistakes thus far is similar to the president who has literally told thousands of lies. She's akin to that person? Is that really the argument that you're trying to make, that she's a compulsive liar like Donald Trump? I mean, I'm not even sure what to say to that. Sure, there have been times where she said incorrect statements, but as she stated in her interview with Anderson Cooper, yeah, I get it. Sometimes I say things that are worded clumsily, but facts do matter, and people often try to take me out of context in order to basically ignore the broader point that I'm making, and she's right about that. She is. Whether you want to admit that or not, she is correct about that. But what he does next is he extrapolates this attack on Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, this assumption that she doesn't care about facts, and he attributes it to everyone on the far right, but also what he calls the far left, which is just progressives, and he implies that centrists are really the only ones who care about facts, saying for both the far left and the far right, facts are an irksome detail of scant importance. What really matters is being morally right. If this attitude takes hold among the broader populace, responsible self-government becomes impossible and radical demagogues will succeed reactionary ones. So again, he's claiming that she doesn't care about facts, or if she does, she cares more about being morally right, which is not what she fucking said. And he is basically putting her in the same category as radical demagogues and says that the far left, just leftists, progressives, in actuality, are like that as well. But then we get to the grand finale, one of the last paragraphs, if not the last paragraph, of this idiotic article where he directly compares her to Sarah Palin. So he says, in some ways, Ocasio-Cortez reminds me of Sarah Palin, a comparison neither woman will appreciate. Palin was another talented young communicator who made a big splash in national politics before having her lack of knowledge painfully exposed. Instead of studying up, Palin gave up any pretense of seriousness and has now disappeared from the debate. This is a cautionary tale for Ocasio-Cortez. She is a politician of immense gifts who can have an outsized impact, but only if she masters the intricacies of policy and curbs her fatal attraction to political celebrity and vacuous sound bites. Trump has gone dismayingly far with his reliance on, quote, alternative facts, but it's not a formula that his opponents should emulate. So on one hand, he claims that she's more concerned with morality and her policies than being factually correct, but on another hand, he says that she's vacuous and cares more about being a celebrity. Well, which is it? You have to pick one. Either she's vacuous and there's no substance there, or she cares so much about substance that she's willing to omit facts. He's making contradictory statements here, and he doesn't even realize it. And the irony here is that Max Boot is an individual who was a Republican up until 2016, but renounced membership in the party when Trump was elected. So if you were a Republican, Max, then presumably you voted for Mitt Romney, but also John McCain, meaning you voted for Sarah Palin, most likely, did you not? Did you vote third party? I'm assuming, given that you're an establishment figure, you voted for Sarah Palin. Now, Max Boot tries to set himself apart from the rest of AOC's naysayers by denouncing all of the ad hominem attacks and the smear attempts of Ocasio-Cortez, but on another hand, he ends the article by comparing her to liars like Donald Trump and political nitwits like Sarah Palin. And let's just take a moment to parse out the comparison here. AOC stands for Medicare for All, a Green New Deal, tuition-free public colleges and universities, and standing up for the working class. Sarah Palin stands for what? She's not Obama? That's someone who actually is vacuous, who doesn't know what she's talking about. AOC, conversely, actually cares about the issues. But you're comparing her to Sarah Palin, not because there's any meaningful significance there or any substance in that comparison, but because it's a tool you use. Anyone we perceive to be dumb is going to be like Sarah Palin or Donald Trump. That's what you're doing. It's very transparent. But you see, the thing is that AOC is obviously intelligent and she's young. She's ahead of her time. She's accomplished more in her 29 years of existence than you will accomplish in your life, Max Boot. So what do? Someone who's so intelligent, you attack them for their greatest strength. It may not work, but at least you bring it down a little bit. And that's what we've seen. It's almost as if this effort to attack AOC is an actual coordinated attack. We have Fox News nitwits and now propagandists in the Washington Post saying, oh, she's dumb. She's a political novice. She doesn't know what she's talking about. It's just unbelievable. She's being held to a completely different standard than Republicans. And this is what she pointed out in her response, saying, naturally, the same week we kickstart a national conversation on marginal tax rates endorsed by Nobel Prize-winning economists, I'm being described as vacuous. If you're allowed to characterize female politicians as unlikable, are we allowed to describe takes like these resentful? Let's refocus our energy and coverage to policies instead of personality. Right now, 800,000 workers are without a paycheck. The president is holding government operations hostage so that he can build a monument to himself on the southern border that the majority of Americans don't want. That's exactly it. And I'll leave it there because I think that she summarizes the situation perfectly. Stop focusing on personality. Focus on the policy substance. This segment of the Humanist Report was brought to you by TYT. To support the Humanist Report and TYT simultaneously, you can become a TYT insider for $4.99 per month by going to tyt.com/thehumanist report, or you can go to tyt.com/thr to become a $10 member. You'll get access to all of TYT's shows, post-game extras, as well as behind-the-scenes content. So sign up today at tyt.com.